that leads me right into this, which was I went to a sermon in Tucson years ago by visiting Jonathan Rose, was the son of the pastor. And he was focused mainly on translation of Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. And I remember in the sermon, he says, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So let's go read the Hebrew. And he read it to us, and he said, what's often missing, kind of like people skip over in the Second Amendment, they skip over like a well-ordered militia, and they jump to shall not be infringed. Like they just leave out the well-ordered militia part, you know? He goes, in the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, what's missing in our sort of translation and the way we say it is, it's shall not be more than, the retribution or the punishment shall not be value more than an eye for an eye and a tooth by a tooth. And he goes, what's implied is that if you by accident or out of passion and anger poked your neighbor's eye out, he's going to have a hard time bringing in the crops. So you need to go fucking help him because you poked his eye out. You know, and it shall be no more than that your eye is poked out.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the literal, even in English, the literal, a different way you could think, like, because when we talk about an eye for an eye, it's like, well, you took that person's eye, so I'm going to take your eye.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's not what it says in Hebrew.
That's not what, like, another way to think about it is like, you took that person's eye, so you are going to use your eyes to help that person see now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's a different way to think about just I never thought about that. But even in English, even when you just think about how you could interpret that phrase, you could interpret it that way.
Yeah. Yep. So that stuck with me for, it's probably 20 years ago, but I remember thinking like, that's in terms of punishment, that's a huge difference. It's sort of what we're discussing. It's like, are you requiring that person or creating a pathway for them to provide the service that they took? Like if the guy can't see the wolves attacking the sheep, you need to go sit there and look for him and shoot, you know what I mean? Yeah. So provide the service, or at least
and it's kind of interesting that we, like, in the when you hear Westerners talk about the reasons why punishment exists, again, they'll say protecting society, rehabilitating the criminal, or enacting retribution. Never in that conversation is fixing the problem, restoring the balance, repairing the damage. It's interesting that's somehow not, like, that's a separate thing from the issue of why we're punishing this person. It's like, well, maybe there's other ways that the state can help restore balance, but that, in terms of the perpetrator, that's not part of the equation at all. It's kind of interesting that it's not thought of that way.